Have you ever met someone who seemed incredibly kind, supportive, and trustworthy, only to discover later that the person you trusted never really existed? The smile was real, the compliments were real, the attention was real, but the intentions behind them were something else entirely. Most people think dangerous individuals look intimidating. They imagine arrogance, aggression, or obvious manipulation, but some of the most psychologically dangerous people hide behind kindness. They don't force their way into your life. They invite themselves in through trust. And by the time you realize what's happening, they've already learned your weaknesses, your insecurities, and your emotional triggers. Tonight, we're exposing the dark psychology of people who pretend to be nice, not to make you suspicious of everyone, but to help you recognize the difference between genuine kindness and calculated behavior, because understanding people is one of the most powerful forms of self-protection. Let's begin. Quote number 1. False kindness is often a strategy, not a personality. Many people assume that being nice automatically means being good, but kindness and character are not always the same thing. Person can be polite and manipulative, helpful and selfish, friendly and dishonest. The mistake most people make is confusing behavior with intention. Real kindness exists even when there is nothing to gain. Fake kindness often appears when there is something to gain. Access, influence, trust, control. The difference is invisible at first, but over time, intentions always reveal themselves, because eventually, every performance becomes exhausting, and every mask begins to crack. Quote number 2. The person who studies your emotions gains influence over your decisions. Manipulative people pay attention, not because they care, because information is power. They notice what makes you insecure, what makes you angry, what makes you feel appreciated, what makes you feel rejected. While others are listening to your words, they're studying your reactions. And once someone understands your emotional patterns, influencing you becomes much easier. This is why emotional awareness is so important. The better you understand yourself, the harder it becomes for others to use your emotions against you. But here's where things get darker. Because some people don't just study emotions, they manufacture them. Quote number 3. Some people create problems so they can become your solution. At first, this sounds ridiculous. Why would someone intentionally create confusion or stress? Because solving a problem often creates dependency. A manipulative person may subtly damage your confidence, then become the source of reassurance. They may create uncertainty, then offer guidance. They may isolate you emotionally, then position themselves as your only support system. The goal isn't helping. The goal is becoming necessary, and the more necessary they become, the more influence they gain. This tactic appears in friendships, relationships, workplaces, even families. The lesson? Be careful of people who seem to benefit every time you're struggling. Quote number 4. The nicest person in the room isn't always the kindest. Many manipulative individuals understand social appearances better than anyone. They know how to appear generous, understanding, supportive, and trustworthy, especially in public. Why? Because image creates credibility. If everyone sees them as a good person, your future concerns become easier to dismiss. When someone finally notices toxic behavior, others often respond with disbelief. That doesn't sound like them. They've always been so nice. Exactly. That image was carefully built. This doesn't mean kind people are fake. It means appearances alone should never be your evidence. Watch consistency, not performance. Quote number 5. Excessive praise can be a form of control. Everyone enjoys compliments. Everyone likes feeling appreciated, but manipulative praise works differently. It's often excessive. Strategic. And targeted. The goal isn't making you feel good. The goal is making you dependent on validation. When someone becomes your primary source of approval, they gain emotional leverage. Now their opinion matters more. Now their approval feels necessary. Now your confidence becomes connected to their attention, and anything connected can be controlled. True encouragement empowers independence. Manipulative praise creates dependence. Quote number 6. Fake kindness often disappears when boundaries appear. One of the fastest ways to reveal someone's intentions is simple. Say no. Create a boundary. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your attention. Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulative people often resent them because boundaries reduce access, and reduced access reduces influence. Pay attention to how someone reacts when they don't get what they want. That reaction often reveals more than years of polite behavior. Quote number 7. Many people don't fear losing you. They fear losing what you provide. This truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes people aren't attached to you. They're attached to the benefits. Your attention. Your support. Your resources. Your loyalty. Your emotional labor. And when those benefits disappear, their interest disappears too. That's not connection. That's dependency disguised as affection. Real relationships survive inconvenience. Transactional ones rarely do. Quote number 8. Manipulators often play the victim better than the victim. One of the most confusing experiences in life is being hurt by someone who somehow convinces everyone else they're the ones suffering. This tactic works because people naturally sympathize with perceived pain. Manipulative individuals understand this. So instead of taking responsibility, they redirect attention. They rewrite events, shift blame, and create narratives that protect their image. Asterisk, the goal isn't truth. The goal is perception. Never judge situations solely by who appears most emotional. Look at actions. Patterns. And accountability. Quote number 9. The most dangerous lies are mixed with truth. Obvious lies are easy to detect. Strategic lies are different. Manipulators often blend truth and deception together. Just enough honesty to appear credible. Just enough deception to remain hidden. This creates confusion, and confusion creates vulnerability. When people are uncertain, they become easier to influence. Clarity is protection. Confusion is often a tool. Quote number 10. People reveal their true character when they gain power. Anyone can appear humble without power. Anyone can appear patient without authority. Anyone can appear kind without influence. Power changes the equation because power removes consequences, and when consequences disappear, character becomes visible. Watch how people treat those who cannot benefit them. That behavior reveals far more than how they treat those they need. Quote number 11. Some people keep you insecure because confident people are harder to control. Confidence creates independence, and independence reduces manipulation. This is why certain individuals subtly attack confidence. Not directly, indirectly. Small criticisms, backhanded compliments, Constant comparisons. Tiny comments that seem harmless individually but damaging collectively. The goal is rarely improvement. The goal is uncertainty, because uncertain people seek guidance. And guidance creates influence. Quote number 12. The need to be liked can become a weakness. Most people spend years trying to avoid rejection, trying to please everyone, trying to gain approval. But the need to be liked creates vulnerability, because anyone who controls your approval controls your behavior. Freedom begins when self-respect becomes more important than universal acceptance. Not everyone needs to like you. Not everyone will. And that's okay. Quote number 13. Silence often reveals what words try to hide. People reveal themselves when they speak, but they also reveal themselves when they don't. Pay attention to what someone avoids. Discussing. What questions make them uncomfortable? What truths consistently disappear from conversations. Sometimes silence isn't peace. Sometimes silence is strategy. Understanding the difference changes everything. Quote number 14. The strongest manipulation feels like your own idea. Asterisk. The best manipulators rarely force. They guide. Suggest. Influence. Until you believe the decision was entirely yours. This is why awareness matters. The more conscious you become of your motivations, emotions, and patterns, the harder it becomes for others to direct them. Self-awareness is psychological armor. Quote number 15. The people who genuinely care about you don't need to control you. This may be the most important truth of all. Real love doesn't require manipulation. Real friendship doesn't require guilt. Real respect doesn't require fear. Healthy relationships create freedom. Unhealthy relationships create dependency. The people who truly care about you want you to grow, even if that growth makes you less dependent on them, because genuine care prioritizes your well-being over their control. And that's the difference between kindness and strategy, between connection and manipulation, between authenticity and performance. Final quote. The most powerful skill in life is learning to see intentions behind behavior. Not every smile is honest. Not every compliment is sincere. Not every act of kindness is genuine, but not every person is manipulative either. The goal isn't becoming cynical. The goal is becoming aware, because awareness protects you from deception without destroying your ability to trust. More clearly you understand human behavior, the less likely you are to be controlled by it, and the more you understand yourself, the less power manipulation has over your future. Now, tell me this. What's the biggest sign that someone is pretending to be nice? Share your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden side of human psychology, subscribe for more powerful insights into human nature, emotional intelligence, mental strength, and the psychology behind everyday behavior.